Hello everybody, welcome to my Senior Bowl coverage this year. I know it's a bit later than a lot of stuff you've actually probably already seen, but practices still have not started. As I record this is Monday, but as you guys see this, it's Tuesday. So later, the day that you guys are seeing this, or the day that this actually comes out, is when it's all coming out. And I mean, yes, I am a bit late on it, but it took a while to compact such a list. There's gonna be a long video. There's gonna be quarterbacks, running backs, every position in the book is on this list. A very deep class, best Senior Bowl we'll ever see. We have underclassmen as well to watch. It's gonna be fun. Let's break them all down. Starting on the offensive side, we're gonna go Bo Nix at quarterback and just run through these quarterbacks real quick. Bo Nix is the first one we'll bring up because he is my favorite quarterback in this class. Not my number one, Caleb Williams, and then Drake May, and then Bo Nix, but he is my favorite. He's, like I said, not number one ranked, but my favorite quarterback in this class. He is terribly, evaluated. I don't know. I've seen some crazy things out there about Bo Nix that just aren't true. He can climb up and down the pocket. He's a very apparent, he has very apparent arm talent, strength, all that. Looks very natural at that quarterback spot in such a fluid offense where, yes, a lot of it is screens. Yes, a lot of his receivers do work for him, but when he is targeting downfield, he is not a liability. He is not a bad decision maker. He is not a turnover guy down the field. He gets through all of his reads. He understands his offense well. He makes an impressive, powerful shots downfield no matter the case. I mean, this guy can target the seam 20 yards down the field in that deeper intermediate area even, and it'll be a dime. And I'm not really worried about him downfield at all. Bo Nix, I like a lot, and he's my first player to watch and really needs to stand out, but a guy with more on the line. Coming up, now Michael Penix, in my opinion, is not make or break at the Senior Bowl, but he's got one hell of an arm, inconsistent end to the season. He had one hell of a bowl game, semifinals or whatever, and then when he gets to the playoff championship, wasn't as great, little inconsistent with his throws, bad accuracies, and it came along with an injury in that championship game as well, which is very unfortunate. He has faced injuries his whole career, but it's only one more to stack on. Now, I heard it was bruised ribs, so it's nothing insanely crazy, no tears, nothing like that, no broken bones, fractured, anything like that. Michael Penix seems to be generally clear. I don't think that he is going to be a full-on, oh, give him a second to ease in, he's a little injured. I don't think it's like that. I think he's good. And like I said, rifle arm, got a quick jab, sort of throws underneath on nice slant routes. If you guys watch box, you know what a jab is, right? It's effective, and so is it with Michael Penix on a slant route. I mean, 3 steps, turn inside, Penix gotcha. His anticipation's good there. Deliver an accurate throw while shuffling up and down the pocket. Quick to find a receiver, adjust, and throw. He's got a nice process. I like Michael Penix, and I like what he offers. Probably still not viewed as a first rounder. It just, highs and lows of Michael Penix right now are he has some great highs, but his lows are, and I guess the pros and cons. The pros are really good for Michael Penix, and he showed that he is a first round caliber quarterback, but the cons between his injury history, the inconsistency, and I don't know where to put Michael Penix Jr. He might sneak into a first round for me, one of these mock drafts, but I think Michael Penix Jr. is as good as he is. He might just be on the fence, and with a good Senior Bowl, maybe answer some questions for some teams. Next up is Spencer Rattler, a guy if he looks like he belongs there, that'd be great. We're gonna see him with some good offensive linemen at the Senior Bowl. Hopefully he'll have some good offensive linemen over there for him. But there's a lot of people that are very high on Spencer Rattler, going as far as first round pick for him, and there are some people that are very low on him. The opinions vary a lot, no matter what, no matter who you watch. The opinions are always different on Spencer Rattler. I haven't watched him personally. I intend to get into that tape a little bit after the Senior Bowl, and I don't really know where to stand on Spencer Rattler, but he is definitely one to watch. He's an interesting guy with a lot of upside. A lot of things can happen for him. He can be taken in the second or third round, and I don't know if I'm there on him from what I've seen, but you never know. Teams, players, people, analysts, everything, they vary at times, and Rattler is one I've seen probably varied the most in this draft process. Now, Michael Pratt is also coming to the Senior Bowl out of Tulane. He flipped Tulane's culture in his time there. Pratt's got good size with some mechanical questions, though, among other quarterbacks, and among other questions too. I mean, he's not nearly the player or pedigree that Bo Nix might bring along with him, but he's got a good Senior Bowl, or if he has a good Senior Bowl, this can be talked about and hyped up enough to be a top 100 player. I have my doubts about him. I don't really know a whole lot about his game, I'm gonna be honest there, but as a winner team like that, and I mean to flip Tulane's culture, and like I said, just he's like in command there, they do better. There's something to that, and teams seem to like that as well. With the good Senior Bowl, like I mentioned, he could be high on people's boards. I don't know if he'll ever be like incredibly high on mine, but I'll have to check out his tape and really dive into Michael Pratt here soon. Like I said, I think I'm gonna wait to do quarterbacks re-eval of the quarterbacks here after Senior Bowl. Wide receiver Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, big old boy with an underdog mentality that has been a huge riser through the course of this season. Someone that just got his first year starting and came out, and I think in his first game put up 175 yards or something. Insane story. He's been a special teamer for South Carolina, and they're like, hey, let's give this guy a chance, and they don't regret it even a little bit. Xavier Legette was great, and I don't really see how you could be down on Xavier. Such a fun player, should test crazy, by the way, if I'm seeing the right numbers. He is insane. He's huge. He's like the DK Metcalf. I hate to use such a big, comparison, him and AJ Brown, or I guess DK and AJ Brown kind of give me the same vibe as Xavier Legette here. Big old boy with an underdog mentality, so he's got that grit to him. He's a little bit jocked, by the way, too. I think he weighs over 220 and still runs so freakishly fast. He was clocked in at the 4.2s unofficially at some point with his time in Sarah Carolina. Believe it or not, Sarah Carolina. That's a school now, by the way. Tez Walker, or Devontae Walker, out of North Carolina, switching Carolinas, and this one is not called Narra Carolina or anything like that. Had a big year after a little scuffle with the NCAA. In his playing time, he made a point. This kid's very fun to watch. Good talent, great down the field, long strider. He's got a lot of upside, in my opinion. Tez Walker, I'll find my notes on him real quick, but just such a fun player to watch. He really did well with Drake May and their connection over the time there. He's got some good reach, always tries his best to get open while his quarterback is improvising. That's kind of what I meant. He works really well with Drake May. He's got a good grip and hold while blocking. I don't think he's like much of a liability there either. And he gets his chances behind the line of scrimmage, whether it's an end around as a jet sweep or touch pass, gets his screens, whatever. He's involved, he's good, and he shows that he's pretty good, actually. Tez Walker, in his short time with the rest of his team around him, after being limited out of a couple games due to a scuffle with the NCAA, like I said, in his little playing time, he made a point. He made his point, and he is definitely one to talk about. Tez Walker is someone I look to I don't know, be a top second round pick or a late first, possibly. Depends on how the NFL and how the coaches and executives see him. Roman Wilson, out of Michigan, a dog at receiver. He plays bigger than he is. The kid's a good football player and ignores the scrutiny about his physicals. You can look at him all you want and be like, wow, that's a tiny dude. I wouldn't do that because you're gonna piss him off. Roman Wilson, so good, so I don't know, a good football player, and those are always guys to watch, guys that always seem to translate to the next level. They seem to have this want to get better. They seem to always find a way to make plays, and Roman Wilson, in my opinion, is that. Now, is he a top pick in this draft? I don't think so. I mean, there are the physical limitations there. I don't think he's the best athlete, but he understands leverage, football, and just overall, I think he's a good football player that's got a dog mentality. It doesn't really care how small he is. Wide receiver Jamari Thrash, out of Louisville. Thrash is a little light. I'm sure it helps him go fast as he does. Very fast receiver, very much a floater. I've heard. I haven't actually watched him, so I cannot back this allegation up here, but he realistically run a top 5 40 time this year, and I don't know if that was quoted or anything, but yeah, this guy can fly, and very, very good. Very good player, smooth, nice feet. Is that weird to say? Would you say nice footwork or nice feet? That's a puzzling one. I should say Jamari Thrash is a big tester, but if he comes out, shows nuance, shows at the Senior Bowl, yeah, I'm him, then that's a riser for sure, and someone to watch for in the first even 2, maybe 3 rounds of the NFL draft. I think he might already be going, top 3 rounds or something like that. Yeah, Jamari Thrash, keep tabs on him, man. He's a fun player. Olad Mukunke, out of Georgia, wide receiver for them, big contributor for them as well. People think McConkey doesn't have athleticism or the movement skills that he does possess. He's got to get open. He gets open so often, but he's got to get open consistently at the Senior Bowl for all this to like really translate or anything like that. He's so jabby, excels on shorter areas. He's really good, quick acceleration, nice jump off the line of scrimmage, savvy after the catch, has some serious wiggle at the top of his routes. He can lose his man instantly. He can turn him around, say, hey, flip your hips that way, doofus, I'm gonna go this way, and it's just super fun to watch at the top of a route with Ladd McConkey. Absolutely one to watch, and I think he'll excel greatly in the one-on-one drills, especially with guys around his size. I'm very curious if we get a Ladd McConkey, Quinyon Mitchell. That would be fun to watch. Wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. I cannot talk, and I think I just had a voice crack too. Sorry, I do apologize. Kind of just trying to fly through this or whatever. But yeah, Florida receiver, another guy that's just a good football player that plays with a high motor, has some serious physicality for his size. Now he's a little bit smaller. I think he's around 6 foot. He might even measure in smaller than that, but I can see him like 6 foot 190 is probably like my expectation. I don't know where he stands currently, but I think that that's like a good target for Pearsall. But it's just a good football player, high points the ball no matter what sort of contact he knows he's going to take. Super fun to watch, and I wouldn't say he's as much of a technician as he is aggressive with his footwork. Just like and then like charges and then boom, shortcut, and he goes outside, catches the ball when it's up a bit over his head. Like Ricky Pearsall has made some plays and some very, very like memorable plays for that Florida team that is always so fun to watch back or just watch Ricky Pearsall in general. Johnny Wilson out of Florida State, an absolute skyscraper of a human being that moves like an alien at 6'7" or 6'6", whatever he measures in at. He can run up to 20 plus miles an hour, which is already insane, and I bet even like 22, 21 miles an hour is there for Johnny Wilson. Like I said, alien, 6'7", runs like freakishly fast. He's got some serious shake, which is nuts. Has a fun like fake block release too, where he is such a mauler. All right, when it comes to like, how are you gonna get past a 6'7" receiver playing on the boundary when you're like nearly a foot smaller than the guy, right? So Johnny Wilson will like try to get up, or like at least make it look like he's getting up into your pads, and then he'll like just dodge you, get out of the way, get up and go, and that's his release, and it works. He's got powerful hands, fights through contact and tackles. Most fun player I've seen on tape this year. Johnny Wilson, massive, crazy upside player I fall in love with every time I talk about him. Johnny Wilson is one to watch, a huge one. Like, write his name down somewhere. Johnny Wilson, I don't know, man. He can be so good so easily. Brendan Rice out of USC, another taller guy. He has some big shoes to fill, obviously, with his dad being Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. So Brendan Rice comes in. He didn't even get the Jerry Rice Jr. I don't know if he has a sibling that has it or someone was born before him, but yeah, Brendan Rice didn't even get the name. But I don't know. That's just a little something. It doesn't matter at all. But he's another tall guy that moves great. He is a good blocker downfield. I notice he improvises really, really well with Caleb Williams and gets a lot of those late targets after Caleb Williams has broken out of structure for 12 seconds, and Brendan Rice is right there ready to make his play or always moving with him. That effort is there. Brendan Rice, one to watch as well, someone that can go in the top 3 runs of this draft. Such a deep receiver class anyways. And then we're gonna get to an absolute wild card no one's really been talking about that I have liked since I read his draft profile. Wide receiver Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. He's got the Debo-like upside. He's got like 100 plus target screens, and it's nuts. I mean, this guy just yards after the catch, whatever, but he's got major concerns mostly with the nuance and technique that comes with playing wide receiver. Hopefully he can sort all that out and actually just focus on being a running back after the catch, and then kind of take the training seriously. He just really needs to show up and play his strengths while showing that he's learning or he can be taught the nuance of receiver. Texas receiver Jordan Whittington, super fun, underrated guy that has some crazy highlights with Texas this year. Stands out on the other 2 highly coveted wide receivers on the team. Like, they have Xavier Worthy, they have Adonai Mitchell. But hey, there's also Jordan Whittington. Don't forget about him. He's a fun player with a lot to prove. Good after the catch as well. Someone that is more the middle of the field guy, maybe the slot, maybe. I don't know where you want to put him. I don't know where he might project the best, but Jordan Whittington just has some fun plays, some fun traits, and some experience at the receiver spot that has really allowed him to really come into his own this last season, and putting up some fun plays on tape that I think might have teams talking about him a little bit more than the general public is. Jordan Whittington, I haven't heard a peep about him all draft process, and that is kind of sad. But I do like Jordan Whittington, and I don't think he's as high caliber even as Brendan Rice or Ricky Pearsall. I think he's a later guy, but I like what he offers, and I'd keep tabs if he goes somewhere where there's like the lack of receivers, or there's like injury prone receivers, whatever the deal is. I'm watching Jordan Whittington, seeing where he ends up going, seeing where and how his development goes. I don't expect him to be a year one contributor, but he stands out enough, or if he does enough, then yeah, you're looking at a good player if he's schemed up right, if the coaches like him, if there's a lot that plays into it. But if Jordan Whittington all works out, this guy could be very fun to watch, and a story to follow come Senior Bowl time, as maybe a one-on-ones, like the drills come around. Obviously that's the one that everyone talks about with these wide receivers, the one-on-ones. But this is seriously a guy, if he can prove himself there and show separation and just show different things. Jordan Whittington, as the Senior Bowl goes on, I'm very curious to see how that if praise comes around, if he's a standout player and stuff like that. So we'll see if he kind of sits in the shadows again, or if he stands out. Theo Johnson, the tight end out of Penn State, fast, freaky, 6 foot, 260 plus, not 160, typo, 6'6", 260 plus, and runs super well. He's a Penn State guy. Obviously he's gonna be a freaking athlete. This guy's tall, this guy's got size, and he still moves very well. Fast and freaking. That's just as much information as you need to watch Theo freaking Johnson. Does anything else really need to be said, or does anything else really need? Yeah, I think I said it right the first time. I do that plenty of times. I don't know what my deal is here. I haven't even had caffeine today, and I'm spewing like a fire hydrant that just got ran into by a car twice its size. Well, any car is pretty much twice its size. It's not a smart car though. Random rants aside, we're going to be talking about AJ Barner, someone that really stood out on JJ McCarthy's tape. He stood out after the catch, just with his movement in general, and I don't know if he is 6'6". He might be a little smaller. There's some questions there, and you might be cheating out a little bit if you're Michigan. But hey, if he really comes out and is like 6'6" and anywhere near 250, I'm watching AJ Barner, because he is a movement. I guess he's a savvy mover that's got good after the catch. And I just like the way that him and McCarthy really meshed this last season. Now, I think they do have another tight end. I think like number 18. He might be just like a really big receiver. But yeah, AJ Barner got some of the work this year and did really well with it, in my opinion. Like I said, just a standout player for me, so I thought he'd be worth mentioning. Kansas State's Ben Sinnott. I'm not sure the correct pronunciation. Sorry, dude. Sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. I know it means a lot, but solid, well-rounded. Not well-grounded, but maybe well-rounded, gritty. All words that describe Sinnott. He was a walk-on that worked his way up to being a great player for the Kansas State. I don't know what they're called. Maybe Cougars. Maybe that's a leap in logic, but Ben Sinnott, one to watch, someone that might actually, I have such a good or fun time watching him. I'm gonna go try to find his notes real quick, just because I did like how he played. I really did like the way that he was a more traditional guy. I didn't think that he was really one to stand out, but dude, one of the first plays I was watching, Sinnott actually came out and blocked Byron Murphy and stonewalled him. Like literally, Byron Murphy, someone will talk about spoiler, right? But dude, Byron Murphy got stonewalled by Ben Sinnott on a little block after a little motion, I think. But Sinnott kind of H-back versatility. Great blocker, more traditional tight end, maybe with less of the size at 6'4", 245 is what he's listed at. And I don't know where his role really lies in the league, but he's a hard worker, and that'll be fun to watch. As if he ends up being a Lion, that might suck because of Sam Laporta, but they might be looking for someone like that to dig out the trenches, and Laporta can go play the slot receiver. Well, Sinnott is kind of their they have another guy there, Brock Wright. I don't know if you want him, but I don't know if Sinnott's I don't know if by the round you'd be getting him. I don't know if he's worth the pick if you already have a Sam Laporta on the team, So yeah, moving on to the last side, and we'll talk about Florida State's Jaheim Bell, bulky wide receiver that lines up all over the damn field with quite a bit of athleticism and to complement his versatile skill set. Now, I say bulky wide receiver, but obviously he's listed at tight end. He's 6'3", 239. So you might want to go one way or the other heading into this offseason process. Come around the combine, if you weigh like 245, cool, that's good. Or you might want to lose some weight, go down to like 230, run a fast 40, bulk back up, and just have that on paper. I don't know. We really don't. But Jaheim Bell, he lines up all over the damn field. I mentioned it. Wide receiver at the tight end position, plays out wide, in the slot, in the backfield. And of course, he'll play in line as a traditional tight end at times. Does a good job getting to the second and third level to help block deeper downfield. Now, he's not exactly your ideal first level blocker. He's not going to take a defensive end out of the game. Bell will just be a Florida State running back at times. It's crazy to watch, showing his athleticism and versatility. He'll literally line up at running back and just take the ball like he's a freaking running back. It's crazy. Running back Rasheen Ali, a Bruce Feldman's freak list player, the 6', 211 pounder, vertical jump 36 inches, broad jump 10 feet. He also power cleaned 335 and squatted 500 pounds. That's nuts. Rasheen Ali obviously has power, obviously has that freak ability there, as Bruce Feldman's freak list. Highly recommend looking at players that are on that coming up in this upcoming draft class. It's always a fun list to kind of be on here. But Rasheen Ali comes from Marshall, not the greatest caliber of competition, if you will, and it's like 6 foot is a bit taller. I think your ideal running back should be 5'10", and that's like the perfect size. But you can, like, if you're a power back at 6 foot, it's good. But at 211, or like when he weighed 211 or whatever, it says here he's 6 foot 209. That's not good size, actually. You probably want him about 2 inches shorter and probably 20 pounds, not 20, okay, 10 pounds heavier. So Rasheen Ali might struggle a little bit as like an upright runner. We'll see what he really contributes here. And I accidentally skipped right over a guy, so gotta go back in the list. Or Marshawn Lloyd out of USC, smaller guy, but makes some impressive efforts through contact while still being able to slice up a defense with his sharp cuts, meaning he is both a good contact runner that can take and embrace and absorb contact and have some nice play with his power, while still being agile and elusive enough to just slice up a defense. He's got experience with a quarterback that extends plays at a higher level, runs like the wind. He's got very good top speed, 7 yards per carry in 2023, and had 75 yards, 72 yards, and 59-yard receiving games. All the other games combined, he only had 26 receiving yards. Nuts. That's a crazy stat. And when he gets the ball through the air, meaning like when he gets his opportunity, when you scheme him up in the pass, he's very good. But all the other games that you really don't, if he gets a dump down or maybe two, it's not great. And so you might want to scheme things up for him. It is what it is. He has some skills to create and really make a difference, or after the catch, yeah, or just get in the open field in general. I looked at another freaking error there. I'm all over the place. It's normally pretty late when I do the film breakdown and evaluations as well, so apologize there. And we already talked about Rasheen, so we'll move to the next guy. Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, running back, has the nastiest cuts of the fastest RBs. What are we talking about? Oh, okay. I have written down here, has the nastiest cuts and one of the fastest running backs, or fasted. I said fasted. Oh my God. It's crazy. Anyways, has a nasty cuts. He's a faster running back, and he's got very impressive legs and power along with his athleticism. So Jalen Wright, his powerful legs, keeps him balanced upright. Much better when he plants his foot and goes. It's not like he's one of those guys that just kind of jog along, find your spots, kind of pick your poison, find that hole and go. He's more of that, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this hole right now. I'm going to cut it up, because Tennessee like visibly didn't have a great pass blocking or run blocking offensive line. So it is what it is. He's patient, but sometimes it's a little too patient, and that could be something you look to fix here in the Senior Bowl, or see how he actually deals with a good line at the Senior Bowl as well. Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Now, I think he's 23. He's like a senior. I don't know where all the schools he's been before Kentucky, but goes to Kentucky. He moves crazy. He's bendy, shifty, speedy dude that can slip tackles and take it to the house with his elusive ability almost at any time. Ray Davis is good. He's got nice pivots. I already mentioned he's got good bursts. Looks like he's got a little long speed ability that people might underrate, and a guy of his size, he's got good size at 5'10", listed at 216. I think he'll probably be that 5'9", 5'10", and up towards 220 actually. So we'll see what he runs in that. I think it might be in the 4.5s, but he's got some good yards after the catch, great in the screen game, and someone that is just all around. You can tell his experience. He's got a feel for the running back position, and though he didn't go against the greatest competition, that's what I'll be watching in the Senior Bowl as well. See how he really adjusts to the competition level there. Moving to the offensive line, we'll start with Talise Fuaga, the right tackle, or just I guess offensive tackle. People talked about putting him at guard, but whatever. Mauler in the run game with crazy fun tape and amazing strength to keep the line of scrimmage like he likes it, or how he likes it. But Mauler, all right, this guy is fun to watch tape. I haven't watched it. That's all I've heard. Like, oh, this guy's tape's fun to watch. In the one game I watched with Talise, yeah, it's pretty damn fun. Tyler Guyton is the next guy we'll talk about, who's very opposite from Talise Fuaga. And I mean, Talise Fuaga, Mauler, good strength, amazing strength, and like I said, kind of keeps the line of scrimmage how he wants it to. Now he might struggle against a little bit of the speed guys, but we won't mention that for him. For his sake, let's move on. Now we just talked about him, Tyler Guyton. He's light as hell on his feet. Kid moves freakishly and has some great traits to help, or great traits. Grapes, yeah, he's got grapes to help that stock go up quite a bit, as he's actually looked at as a first rounder in some of these analysts' eyes. I think Daniel Jeremiah might have him in the first. I don't want to get that wrong there, but Mel Kiper, one of the two, I think, had him in the first. But he's light as hell. Kid moves freakishly, like absolutely freakishly. He just floats to the second and maybe third level. I don't think maybe third, but yeah, for his size, he should not be doing the things he's doing, and that is what makes his stock a bit better, and his traits are really good. And I guess, yeah, let's go to a more underrated offensive tackle. Offensive tackle Javon Foster out of Missouri. They have a few heavy hitters here that aren't really being talked about. I think Darius Robinson or something like that. That they have an edge rusher, they have Javon Foster, and they have Tyron Hopper, who I think I talked about either in the East-West Shrine Bowl or he's coming up. Spoiler again, by the way, but I don't really care. Maybe a little underrated, but a solid player that can potentially be a top 3 round pick with good run at the Senior Bowl. What does that even mean? He's not a running back. I need to fix my stuff here. I need to get in line. I need to make sure I'm not making these errors, because it's kind of tough, because these were multiple days ago when I actually wrote this all down. I spent a lot of time just gathering other stuff, and so now I'm looking at it here and it's like I don't even know what I mean by half the stuff here. But anyways, could be a top 3 round guy, solid player. He's got some experience. He's a bit underrated, like I mentioned, but he can definitely be a riser. And like I said, if he stands out at the Senior Bowl with a good run at the Senior Bowl, Javon Foster could raise up some boards pretty quickly. Offensive guard Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, along with the teammate we talked about earlier, Ben Sinnott, versatile interior offensive lineman that can hold just about anyone with his crazy strength and awareness that moves through the second level really well. He's very aware through the first 2 levels with crazy strength to stop anyone in his way. That's pretty much all you need to know about Cooper Beebe. Now he might lack size. Now he might lack a few things. A lot of people might not like that, but some people will love the fact that this guy might just be a little bit more raw, lacks technique, but has good awareness and crazy strength to just keep it from getting in, keeping the pressure out. And Cooper Beebe does that really well. Like I said, probably not the most polished player, but hey, if you're strong enough and aware enough to pick up on the things and still just can hold them back, that's the offensive line, I guess, right? So maybe lacks a little bit of that nuance or technique of offensive linemen that people may favor. But for those that just like gritty players like Cooper Beebe to just come up, that's another Lions fit. I think the 3rd, 4th round comes around, Cooper Beebe's still on the board. I should say 4th round comes around, Cooper's still on the board. That's my Graham Glasgow replacement, or whoever the hell wants to play center for him next time around. And we'll talk about another maybe underrated guy, Dominic Puny. Now I think this is a guy with tackle and guard versatility. Spent all of 2022 at left guard, then shuffled to left tackle for all of 2023. Played well at both spots and maybe favored at left tackle, but I think that just could be an experience thing. The more experience you get, typically the better you get, especially at the college level. So that shuffle to left tackle, you could still kick him back into guard. He's a fun prospect that I think teams might have graded really high. But there's also I've heard some things. I don't know if he's been injured or something, but I've heard something that hinders like something about his draft stock, and talked about him as like, oh, he's like a day 5 gem if he doesn't blah 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 at the next level. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I think he's a good player, solid, and left and, or I guess guard tackle versatility is valuable as well. Offensive guard Christian Haynes from the University of Connecticut, also known as UConn, moves really well and has some other traits to help him out get away with a few of the small things that he doesn't do as well that might take a hit on his draft stock. Not the specifically polished guy you want, but moves really well. And like I said, he has the traits. That's the way people look at, right? And you're like, okay, what if, you know, this player could be, you know, what if he can be, what if he does, you know, like there's a lot of questions around a lot of players, but that's a lot of the draft. You see those guys that are a little bit more conservative, and then people in the league that they want to take these shots. They want a project ahead of them. And yeah, Christian Haynes is just that, and someone that could end up being a very good player at the next level. I wouldn't be surprised even a little bit. And we'll see how his nuance and how good he looks against Senior Bowl caliber competition as well. Left tackle or offensive tackle Jordan Morgan at Arizona has some explosive energy, good bend, movement skills that are pretty good laterally. He lacks some nuance though, and a lot of these guys get away with that at the college level just because they have an upper hand athletically or gifted like physically over the opposing, you know, edge rusher, or if it ends up being an interior defensive lineman, whatever. But yeah, Jordan Morgan, explosive energy, you like that. Movement skills, good. Bend, fine. Laterally, he's pretty good, but he lacks some of that nuance, that extra bit that you like in guys like Joe Alt and Olufashanu and Pass Pro, that like they just know what they're doing. Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU. This young man has some crazy athleticism. I think he might be a sophomore. I don't know if that's allowed. I thought it was just juniors and seniors, but I guess underclassmen in general are allowed, so whatever. But yeah, Kingsley Suamataia, crazy athleticism, explosive mover that can throw his weight around like it's nothing. Super fun, by the way. Suamataia, like, you look at all these guys that are coming in, and to me, Suamataia is a better ceiling than Jordan Morgan even. So sorry, Jordan. Kingsley here to play. Young man, like I said, crazy athletic, explosive, and can throw his weight around. That's what teams look for. Teams covet, especially with a offensive tackle, like a project tackle, like a guy like Kingsley Suamataia, maybe a second round pick to the or an early third to the Cardinals if he falls far enough. Yeah, DJ Humphries is there and he can play. Oh no, Humphries goes down. Okay, Suamataia, it's your time to shine. Think of everything we've taught you so far. The coaching staff's worked with you on certain things to go along with your crazy athleticism and the way that you move, and Kingsley can end up being a very good player. Center Jackson Powers Johnson at Oregon was projected a second round pick that could even be a possible first rounder if all goes well at the Senior Bowl. Now, I don't really see this, but yeah, people like to think like, yeah, I mean, he's an early second. That's like one of the best guys on the interior, if not the best. And I don't know if all goes well at the Senior Bowl. Like, I don't know if he has an unbelievable like stint of practices where he doesn't let a single guy past him. Sure, that'll obviously raise his draft stock, but how realistic really is that? I'm not sure. It's my first year going through all this, so we'll have to see. But first rounder seems a bit, you know, a little bit too much for me and Jackson Powers Johnson. But second round, I'm just fine. Like even mid second round seems a bit like good, like a bit better, like value. I think that's exactly where I'd have him. But I can see him early if the right situation, team evaluation, you know, if the right things are there, the right pieces in the puzzle are there. I like the early second rounder, but I just don't know if he's worth that first round pick with all the players on the board this year in the deep draft class that this is. And Patrick Paul out of Houston, now he's a little bit under the radar guy, or he's a bit under the radar nowadays. Is earlier in the draft process, I heard nothing but great words for Patrick Paul and how he's been, you know, how he came out like swinging and was really good and was just seemed to excel. And that now it's like, okay, well, where was that hype on him? He's a smarter blocker. He does a lot of things well, and not a whole lot of people talk about him. He's an under the radar type of guy nowadays, and I don't really see why. I mean, he's a solid pick, maybe not the high upside, or he doesn't move as well as Kingsley Suamataia, but Patrick Paul, and by the way, 2 first names, but Dude, I don't get it. Patrick Paul should be a guy, and hopefully he stands out the Senior Bowl like I expect him, or like he should, as he does a lot of the little stuff, or he does a lot of the good stuff well, and that really shows. I know coaches like that sort of floor for him, especially in pass pro. Now he might struggle in the run though. I'm kind of worried for that. But on to the next guy. Offensive tackle that is looked to be a guard. We'll see if he gets the move to guard for the Senior Bowl, but he's very talented with a lot ahead of him. He moves upfield and thrives when his physicality is in good use. When he's up in the second level, or when he's pulling and they say, hey, here's a toss it out to Dylan Johnson or whoever the running back lined up is, Troy Fautanu, or when he's in the movement, I guess, when he's in the system, when he's in the scheme, when he is on the move, getting to the second level, when he's schemed up to get upfield, use his physicality and the way he moves, use his talents and get upfield. That's when Troy Fautanu thrives, and I can't wait to see where he goes in the draft. Potential first round pick, by the way, mid first rounder. Actually, people have talked about him going to like the Seattle Seahawks. I think it's like 16 or pick 16 or 18, something like that. Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. Day 2 type of guy. That's a solid product. Well, with his little things that can be coached up, and Frazier can be an interesting pick. I don't really know where he'll go. I just thought he was a guy to put in here. Now that I'm thinking about it, probably should not have made the cut, but whatever. Moving on to defense with the first player, Peyton Wilson out of NC State. Flyer, high motor, high production, great player with some injury concerns that hinder teams' options or opinions on him. With Peyton Wilson, you know, like, oh, we want to take him here, but nope, sorry. Can't do that just because we have a certain, you know, we built this thing in a rule per se. I can't really think of the word right now, but we can't take a player that's medically blah 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 within this certain time. So that might definitely hurt Peyton Wilson, but like I said, flyer, high motor, high production player that flies over. Maybe not as great or stuck up in between the tackles, but yeah, Peyton Wilson fun to watch as well. Someone I'm super excited to see. If I mean, he should stand out as in a weaker class of linebackers, in my opinion. Talked about him earlier. It's Tyrone Hopper. I'm not sure which one it is. Missouri product here, later round guy, but there is upside here. Hopper's experience shows. He's sound and coverage with some good movement skills to just keep him around, be a solid either Mike linebacker, or you can even flood him out, be a nice not even like as far outside, but I'd keep him towards the middle, maybe your middle linebacker 2, where you're just kind of, you're keeping one on the more dominant side of the field or whatever it is. But yeah, Tyrone Hopper could be a story for sure. I don't know, like I said, he's already a later round guy, not expected, no great expectations here for him, but there is the upside, and I really wanted to shout him out because I really liked him. All right, I'm gonna make a fool of myself here. Maurice Liufau. That was bad. Notre Dame's linebacker, Maurice, I'm gonna call him, or Marist, I don't know. Tough guy that was all over the place for Notre Dame while sustaining great coverage and very capable blitzer. Good hair, by the way, also a trait there. But yeah, tough guy, moves all over this defense. He's there all the time, flies around. He's got great coverage ability, very capable blitzer through and in between the tackles, off the edge, whatever it is. The Notre Dame linebacker can definitely move the needle for himself at the Senior Bowl if he just makes those constant big plays that we saw he had the upside of doing at Notre Dame. Any play that this linebacker could get loose, he showed pretty well and pretty good highlights at Notre Dame. Down to the defensive linemen, mostly like the interior defensive line guys. Rook Oro. I know, right? Like, that's nuts, but I think that's actually how you say it. Well-rounded guy that lacks true nose tackle size, but can definitely impact the defensive line in the NFL. Maybe as a guy like 3 tech is probably where I'd line up Rook Oro. But yeah, very well-rounded guy. He's got some upside with him, but his size is something that I would not like to see get in the way for him. So we'll see how he deals with that at the Senior Bowl, as well as he's got some pretty good competition on the offensive line ahead of him, on the other side of the drills, on the other side of the game, whatever he ends up doing, obviously. Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas, talked up to be a top 15 player in this class for some people, or top 15 pick even, but Murphy will come in as an underclassman and most likely beat the crap out of all these old dudes. Maybe only a year older than Byron, but it's always nice to come in now as an underclassman and to just go up and show, like, hey, you have experience, F off, dude. Just take it to his pads. I don't know. Byron's so fun, and so is the next player we'll talk about. Yeah, but Byron Murphy, I'm sure you already know about him, so don't really have to hit on him for a whole lot of time here. Michael Hall, who has reportedly weighed around like 280 or something, but yeah, so he's kind of a tweener. He's a bit smaller than you'd like inside, but a little bigger than you'd like for like playing outside. His size isn't amazing, and he'd kind of have to play like a scheme specific like role. I don't know, but all that aside, Hall's a strong player, ready for the NFL's physicality and plays tough through the whistle. I like that. I love this. He's a power guy that can work and works and works, puts that effort in. He's good, high motor player. That means with like playing through the whistle, like, you know what I mean, like plays from one end to the other, like when the guy snaps it, you're giving it your all the way till you hear that damn whistle. And he's got that NFL physicality trait about him that I love as well. And now we'll talk about big dog. I'm sure you'll know who this is. 360-pound T'Vondre Sweat, big ass boy, an absolute unit against the run. Nobody gets past him when you're running in his direction. That's pretty much all that needs to be said. Good player. I was voted like the best defensive player in college football or something. Wow, he got quite the prestigious rewards and praise this college season. I don't doubt it. I mean, he's very good, and the teammate next to him might be, I mean, it might be. Byron Murphy's probably the better player. When all said and done, T'Vondre Sweat can definitely, you know, contest for that. You know, like when the 9 years down the road, we might be talking about T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy, and who ended up being better. Who knows? All right, honestly, I don't know. But yeah, just a big man. That's big. And he's a big part of that defense, as he's a big part of that defensive line in Texas, and looks to translate that to any place he goes, Senior Bowl or NFL. Now, Dwayne Carter from Duke's a little weird, but solid power at the point of attack. He's pretty twitchy and flashes some great traits. Also a high effort guy. This to me was kind of weird, seeing that he had actually lined up on the edge for them, and like a little just out further wide. Like he was out like that way. He wasn't inside, well, you know, playing 300 pounds plus. And Dwayne Carter might be that good, that mobile, that good footwork or whatever it is that you want to play him on the outside. I just, no way. I would rather have Dwayne Carter using that twitch and the traits he possesses as a high effort guy inside. Let him work the trench, or work the trenches, I guess, if you want to say it that way, but let him work. I don't know what really you're letting him do outside, where it's just not really, I don't really see the point of doing that there, actually. So I don't know, weird situation with him, but someone to watch, and we'll see where he plays Senior Bowl, or where he plays in the Senior Bowl, what positions they want to run him at, and we'll see. We'll let an opinion develop as time goes on. Oregon's Brandon Dorless, another Bruce Feldman's freak list athlete with some good hands and good energy. It's pretty much all you need to like know. Like, he's just an amped up guy, I guess. He's a freak. He runs really well. He runs really fast, or like ran really fast coming into college, or whatever the situation was. At one point, he ran really fast, and he is pretty powerful, and he's got some good hands. And with that energy behind him, it's hard to stop. So Brandon Dorless, one to watch as well. He is a little bit on the shorter side. I think he's around 290. Interesting. Well, like I said, we'll see where some of these guys actually end up lining up, you know, in their NFL careers and in the Senior Bowl, to get like a little glimpse of what, you know, what could be, or something like that. Braden Fisk out of Florida State, late riser with an aggressive nature, powerful hands, and overall power guy. All right, he's a high motor guy with underrated quickness. In my opinion, he moves faster than people give him credit for, despite his aggressive nature, powerful hands, and overall power. I mean, he's just his high motor, plays through the whistle. He's an effort guy. All right, and Braden Fisk, Florida State guy, watch out. All right, Braden Fisk might move into day 2 for people, and I can actually 100% see that. Very fun player. I watch out for Braden Fisk for sure. I think he'll actually take it to some of the linemen at the Senior Bowl. Moving to the edge guys now, starting with Adisa. I don't know if it's Adisa Isaac or Adisa. I'm gonna call him Adisa Isaac out of Penn State. Obviously an athlete, right? You're out of Penn State, you're gonna be a freak. Combines flexibility and quickness, turning up the field into a runway, or like turning the field into a runway. If you want to play him out really wide, just let him play like wide, right? And just give him that runway. With that, unstoppable. He's got the tools, he's got the well-rounded, like he's got some nuance, he's got experience, and might be better than Chop Robinson, who played on the other edge of him at Penn State, or the edge on the defense. I don't know. Moving on. Marshawn Kneeland, heavy set edge rusher who's good against the run. He might not be the best player all the way around, but he's got the damn tools, and that's all you need for NFL teams. That's how you convince them. You're like, dude, I've done it once. I can do it again. Dude, my arm length is crazy. And then they're like, yeah, you know what? This guy, I like this guy. And yeah, he's just good against the run. And like I said, might not be the best player all the way around, might not be the best player right away, but he's got tools. And 270 plus pounds, not a bad thing to have on your resume, I'm not gonna lie. And to still play edge at a very good level, that's good. That's great for Marshawn Kneeland, and one you might want to watch draft stock wise, because this guy could be a riser for sure. Going to Laiatu Latu, UCLA's product at edge rusher, an absolute technician with his hands. Latu's probably the best pure pass rusher in this class because he's so good with his hands. He always comes in with a game plan. He's like, all right, watch this, and he gets up and then snap the ball. Boom, swat, spin, swim, power, get up into your pat. Like, he's got it all. Laiatu Latu, an absolute technician, like I said, and really good at his hands, making him one of the best, if not the best, pure pass rusher in this class. With medical concerns, obviously, that might hinder it a little bit, and we'll see where he gets taken, I guess, back end or a middle of the first round. So, Laiatu Latu, fun as hell, and he'll destroy dudes at the Senior Bowl, no doubt. Alabama's edge rusher Chris Braswell, power rusher with athletic upside and good technique. Braswell keeps intact with Will Anderson and talks to his teammate Dallas Turner and former teammate Will Anderson in a group chat. They talk about their stuff, film, and just, I guess, send each other fun stuff in a little group chat there. But what I'm saying is he has Will Anderson to look at now, and he keeps in contact. Huge. I think people, like, when that actually came out, or like that information was said or something, Will Anderson went on a show I listened to or whatever, on a podcast or whatever. But yeah, Will Anderson for like brief 10 minutes just went on talking, and this came up where he still talks to his boys, and they break each other down, and they talk about it, and they kind of ask questions to each other, and they're still like, they're still buds. They still talk. They still whatever. Maybe Chris Braswell ends up getting drafted to the Texans early second round or something. They want to trade up, and they're like, Will Anderson's like, we need that guy. I don't know. Derek Barnett's playing really well. Grenard, I don't know. He's probably a free agent. Probably let him walk and get Derek Barnett under contract. I don't know what we're gonna do or what you're gonna do. I think I said we're not I'm not the Texans. Probably the highest upside underrated guy in this, Javon Solomon, all right, out of Troy. Freak off the edge with some crazy twitch and great handwork. Already has some NFL moves ready in his arsenal. He has them. He has NFL caliber, like spin moves, swim moves, and this guy, he is a little undersized, but he still works really well with his hands into guys' pads with some crazy twitch, and a freak, just an overall freak. From what you see and hear about Javon Solomon, once again, have not watched these dudes, but man, oh me, Javon Solomon seems like a very fun watch, and one I'm definitely keeping tabs on, as he could be the biggest riser and benefit through the whole Senior Bowl. Like overall, you had to look at one player. Solomon might actually be like the biggest riser from the Senior Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever, because I just called it. So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy to see what Javon Solomon's up to. Houston's edge rusher Nelson Caesar, next up on the list. Not the biggest or strongest dude, but gets off the edge and wants violence. Also pretty good with his hands. Got a solid floor, I would say. But like, again, not the biggest or strongest dude. He's not going to overwhelm you with either. He's got good weight and height, but I don't know if like he really profiles like, oh, he uses his power from his shoulders and from here and from like down low. I don't think like he's really known to be that guy. But man, he wants violence, and I like Nelson Caesar quite a bit. I liked his draft profile, liked what I saw from him at Houston a little bit. Nelson Caesar could be another standout guy, I guess. Moving to cornerbacks, Johnny Dixon out of Penn State. Instinctive players with good ball skills and shows solid athleticism to hold up on the boundary. And I might see him playing slot a little bit with, obviously instinctive player, good ball skills, showing athleticism and whatever. He's not like a Penn State freak like we've seen, but he's also not cornerback one, so he doesn't really have to be. you know. But instinctive is always good at the corner spot, and especially if you like to act on it. And he seemed to be the more confident player out of him and Kalen King this year. And again, you might see that move to slot corner for Johnny Dixon, and teams might try him out there or whatever. In interviews, it might come up like, hey, would you be comfortable playing the slot? Hey, how much have you played the slot? Hey, what do you want to do? And Johnny Dixon might surprise some people. Cornerback Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. He's a tall dude that might not test well, but he also might. But he can be put in the day 2 category for some guys, depending on how much you like traits, height, like the intangibles, I guess. But he's an aggressive guy that can come downhill too, which you really like at corner. But sometimes he shies away from the contact. It's really weird. It's kind of like when he chooses to. He can be pretty good against a run or just coming downhill in general, trying to make plays. So Kyrie Jackson, again, intangibles there. Day 2 category for some guys, but you know, physical and sometimes not so physical against the run. Quarterback Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. He had lower competition, I guess, lower level competition, you could say, playing at Toledo. People don't know how elite his numbers are, and like, I don't know how to take it either. Like, he has some great production, and I've heard it broken both ways. Like, okay, you have 50,000 pass breakups, but only 1 interception, and you're like, okay, how's that the case? Like, you're obviously there, you're obviously getting targeted, you're obviously making the plays. How are you not getting your hands on more? But how are you just disrupting the pass so often, but not ever making like really that play on the ball? So Quinyon, he's one hell of an anomaly. I don't know, like, when's the last time we saw like a Quinyon Mitchell? I'm sure someone could point to someone. Like I said, I just generally don't know. It's not like I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, I don't even know one. It's not like that, but it's like Quinyon Mitchell, man. It's just I haven't like really, like, it's just an interesting situation for him. Now, Max Melton out of Rutgers, a physically gifted lad with some great effort while the ball is in the air and attacking downhill. Fun player with some great upside. He's like I said, gifted, and his effort and his motor, or the awareness to get to attacking either downhill or while the ball is in the air. If he wants to come down from the opposite side, or say it's like a cross concept, he'll not be scared to just evade his or I guess elude his responsibility there, and just get aggressive and attacking the ball or attacking the player. I mean, fun player, like I said, and has and shows some upside. Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest, NFL frame with some pro ready characteristics along with his not so pro characteristics. He gives up some big plays here and there that you really like. Do you want to be doing this right now? Like, do you want to bite here? Maybe like a double move or something. But yeah, he just bit the bone too much. I don't know. That's not even a thing, is it? I don't think that's a stereotype. He bit the dust a few times, I should say. He's gave up a few plays, but yeah, offers a high ceiling and maybe not that high floor. But again, how much do teams look at traits? How much do they value traits? How much do they value production? And how much do they value film evaluation, and not what they just see on paper or whatever? So Kalen Carson, another guy, like, oh, he could be a day 2. I could also see him going late day 3. You know, Kalen Carson, who knows, man. Kalen King, I'm sure you've heard this name before, but Penn State corner has only gone downhill. People knock his confidence and size. His final chance to prove himself to everyone. He's got to make it count here at the Senior Bowl. Last year, to start the draft process, Joey Porter Jr. was a hot name, but a lot of people were intrigued by his teammate Kalen King. He gets all hype, you know, he's good, he's got that draft stock up, you know, he's there. Then he loses his confidence. It doesn't really look like he's that great. He's a little bit on the smaller side, so you start to look towards the negatives. And his final chance to prove himself to everyone is here in the Senior Bowl, and we'll see what impression he leaves, I guess, as the once known as a good corner, right? But I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll knock people's socks off. I think he'll just be, again, fluid, fine, and solid, and might have a mistake or two every here and there. So something to watch out for as well. But yeah, Kalen King really needs to make an impression, or to leave one, like I said. Now, Auburn corner Nehemiah Pritchett, and then we might talk about another Auburn corner with a little bit of some similarities here, but skinnier frame with low physicality. But if he can cover with confidence and speed and add a few things, that'd be great. Now, I don't know what the hell this sentence is here that I just even read. Skinnier frame with low physicality. kind of the same thing. Like, you don't want to go break your vertebrae at 180 pounds or something, but if he can cover with confidence and speed, so like instincts, and he's willing to take that chance, and the short area quickness and burst he shows to move from like one place to the other, and add a few things nuance or technique wise, that'd obviously be great. Yeah, it would be great for everyone. So I gotta stop doing these late. I gotta figure my stuff out for sure. But yeah, Nehemiah Pritchett, one to watch out for, high upside player that might be seen even higher than this next guy, his teammate DJ James. Like I mentioned, Nehemiah Pritchett's or what is it Nehemiah? Am I saying that wrong, or I don't know, but yeah, DJ James, very light but covers tight. He's got some great instincts and tracks the ball. I literally have that written down, actually. Very light, all caps, and then but all lowercase, and then covers tight, the exclamation part. He's got some great instincts and tracks the ball downfield very well. Now this is a guy that if he wasn't 6'1", 165 pounds, or 6 foot, whatever he even ends up being, if he was 6 foot, I'd even sacrifice it. If he was 5'11", if he was 5'11", 195, this is a second round corner. But no, instead, I don't know. Can he still play as well with stacking on a little bit of size? Maybe he's maxed out his frame, whatever it might end up being. His size just sucks. No way around it. He's got great instincts, and like I said, tracks the ball downfield very well, along with his instinctual play and his awareness. Like, everything's just good with DJ James, except for the fact that he's a feather. Now we'll get to the versatile guys, or the guys that you might see elsewhere, like nickelback, or like I guess it's not the best thing to nickel or slot safety, or safety or slot safety. Oh my god, okay, these are the guys, right? Cornerbacks. But are they slot cornerbacks? Are they safeties? There we go. Okay. Chris Abrams-Drain out of Missouri plays the boundary, but he may slide inside to nickel, and I think he could really excel. He's a good tackler, got good speed, and he's got great burst. It's the first guy you're seeing. So hopefully you guys read everything right there. I'm not going to really hit on him much more than that. We already wasted enough time talking about this whole situation here. This whole ideal ordeal with the slot safeties. No, oh my god, slot corners. Oh Jesus. Now here's someone that probably played safety but probably wants to play nickel, or you might line him up, whatever. Tyke Smith out of Georgia could play nickel, could play safety. Tyke stays aware in coverage. He's always ready to make a hit and play physically. He is gifted, I'll tell you that much. To play in a Georgia defense, you have to be. But like I said, he can slide down to slot corner and be like your big nickel, or he could also play a little bit of safety for you, maybe over top, and stays aware, always ready to pounce as well. So that's always good. And let's go to one of the best, well-known, biggest football players in this class, Mikey Sainristil out of Michigan. He's a leader, great football player through and through. He's got an excellent motor and a great feel overall for the game of football. Makes him a leader. What makes him a leader? I mean, the fact that everyone loves him. All right. That's just, I'll leave it there. He's a great football player through and through. He knows, like, I think he was a freaking wide receiver for 2 years at Michigan. Seamless transition, by the way, to slot corner, and he's got an excellent motor and a great feel overall. That also contributed to that switch to slot corner. But yeah, crazy. James Williams, a Miami safety, but he's listed at linebacker, so he has to come in bigger than 215 pounds. If he's lined up at linebacker, but dude's 6'5" and 215 pounds, he runs well, has good fluidity in general. But if he lines up at 6'5", 215 to play linebacker, oh my god, that's gotta be, it's like Marquise Bell without size. It's just like that. If you guys know who Marquise Bell is, actually stepped in for the Dallas Cowboys mid-season for them when Leighton Vander Esch unfortunately and obviously went down. It's just it's like a DB playing linebacker because he's got some size, and James Williams better stack on more than 215 pounds to play linebacker, I swear to god. Now safety Javon Bullard out of Georgia. I'm surprised he's even going to this thing. He's already one of the top safeties, but maybe has a little bit more to offer and a lot more to prove. He's a cover safety who's been with some good competition and some good teammates. He does play a little bit conservative, but he does have lots to offer, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you'd really want the Senior Bowl right here if you're Javon Bullard. Now I get it for the next two guys, but yeah, Javon Bullard, I mean, I get you want to just like leave an impression, you want to play more football, you want a chance to maybe knock out an interview or two or whatever ends up being. Javon Bullard, I think he's already pegged as a good player in most people's eyes. Washington State's Jaden Hicks has great size at 6'3". Maybe not the best athlete ever, but he makes up for it with his physicality all over the field. He flies around kind of the back end there, making his effort and his presence felt. And like I said, at 6'3", I don't really care if you don't test the greatest. You can even run a late 4.5, early 4.6 maybe, and still have quite a bit to offer and not like really take the biggest hit ever to your draft stock or whatever. But yeah, Jaden Hicks, fun one to watch as well. Utah's Cole Bishop, a player I've liked for a while, ever since I saw him for the first time. Plays over top, he plays down low with good versatility to cover tight ends underneath and over top, play those low zones, play those deep zones, play those deeper middles, which are also always kind of tough as well. But yeah, Cole Bishop plays all over the place. He's got a good feel. I think he is actually like a true senior, but also could be a junior, but he's got experience. And like I said, plays all over the place. I've liked the way he profiled forever. And one guy that is injured and out of this thing, by the way, as well. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Missouri. He's is a football player. Rakestraw plays with very visible passion and energy, but that passion and energy will be missed at the Senior Bowl. I think he was ruled out due to an injury. I don't know if the injury was disclosed or not, but yeah, Ennis Rakestraw missing the Senior Bowl, so unfortunate for him, and hope to see him make a full recovery by draft time. And this will only kind of prove the point that injuries have kind of hurt him in the past, and I guess coming back to bite him now. Anyways, that'll be all for me. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, go down, subscribe, go check the past content on the channel. Just posted an East-West Shrine thing that just like this the other day, so that'll be all for me. Thanks for watching again. See you guys next time. Peace.